In Amish communities, generations of hands-on wisdom have distilled natural, effective methods into a simple truth. Let the right plants work together. By using certain herbs, flowers, and vegetables, these quiet masters of the soil maintain rich fields year after year. Now let's discover how 20 ordinary plants can boost productivity and protect your garden the same way Amish farmers have done for centuries. Number 1. Clover. Clover plays an essential role in Amish fields by boosting the soil's natural fertility without chemicals. Its root system engages with beneficial bacteria that pull nitrogen right out of the air, then store it underground. That frees families from purchasing industrial fertilizers, which can be expensive and often leave behind chemical residues. In many Amish communities, clover fills the spaces between main crops or is planted in rotation with grains and vegetables. Clover's lush canopy also helps protect topsoil from erosion by shading and cooling the ground during hot summers. When tilled under, it adds valuable organic matter that feeds earthworms and other soil creatures. Across multiple generations, Amish families have noticed that clover-enriched plots yield hardier crops with stronger resistance to drought, making it a cornerstone of their long-term, low-cost agricultural practices. Number 2. Beans. The Amish cultivate a variety of beans to enhance yields and improve soil health, taking advantage of nature's built-in fertilizing system. By forming nodules on their roots, beans work together with specific bacteria to gather nitrogen and enrich the earth. This is invaluable in a rotation plan, where corn or other heavy feeders follow bean crops. Rather than relying on synthetic fertilizer, many Amish farmers chop old bean vines back into the ground at season's end. That organic matter then decomposes and feeds the soil all winter. Heirloom bean varieties, passed down through families, also carry rich flavors and robust growth traits. Additionally, the Amish often combine pole beans with tall corn stalks, letting the beans climb naturally and saving space. This symbiotic approach keeps costs low, ensures reliable harvests, and preserves agricultural wisdom for future generations. Number 3. Tanzy. Tanzy's bright yellow clusters stand out in Amish homesteads, but these cheerful blooms do more than decorate the landscape. They release strong-smelling compounds believed to repel insects such as Japanese beetles, cucumber beetles, and ants. By planting tansy along fence lines or at the edges of vegetable plots, Amish gardeners create natural barriers that discourage pests from entering. Tanzy's sturdy stems also provide an attractive habitat for beneficial wasps that prey on caterpillars and larvae. Some families hang dried tansy in barns and pantries to ward off rodents and moths. In carefully measured amounts, tansy's potency remains an ally rather than a hazard. Generations of observation have shown that fields surrounded by tansy rows need fewer external pest controls. While not used in cooking due to its bitter taste, tansy quietly earns its spot in sustainable Amish gardening. Number 4. Borage. The star-shaped blue flowers of borage often appear in Amish gardens to lure pollinators. Bees and butterflies flock to these nectar-rich blooms, then move on to pollinate squash, tomatoes, and other vegetables, significantly improving yields. Borage's broad leaves shade the soil, helping retain moisture and keep weeds at bay. The plant's robust taproot draws up minerals from deeper layers, enriching the topsoil when borage leaves decompose. Some Amish families mix chopped borage into compost, boosting the nutrient content of their organic fertilizers. Borage leaves and blossoms also appear in salads or as garnish, prized for their light, cucumber-like flavor. By supporting pollination, reducing weeds, and enriching the soil, borage ties together multiple aspects of the Amish principle of working with, rather than against, nature. Number 5. Basil. Basil thrives in the sunny corners of Amish vegetable plots, but it's more than just a culinary herb for flavoring sauces. Its fragrant leaves emit volatile oils that repel mosquitoes, flies, and garden pests like aphids. Amish families often plant basil around seating areas to enjoy summer evenings without the annoyance of insects. The same aromatic properties also protect nearby tomato plants from hornworms and fungal diseases. Through seed-saving practices, many Amish communities have cultivated their own robust, pest-resistant Basil strains. Basil's shallow roots make it easy to grow in containers or raised beds. In addition, local markets welcome fresh basil, providing a small but steady income. By integrating pest control, flavor, and economics, basil strengthens the sustainable loop central to Amish farm life. Number 6. Comfrey. Comfrey's broad, fuzzy leaves and deep roots make it a topsoil builder in Amish settings. Its extensive root system mines subsoil layers for minerals like potassium, calcium, and phosphorus. Cutting the leaves multiple times a season for mulch releases these nutrients to the surface, benefiting vegetables and grains. Because comfrey leaves decompose quickly, they act like a slow-release fertilizer that Amish gardeners rely on instead of store-bought chemicals. In many households, comfrey also has a long-standing reputation as a folk remedy when used externally on bruises or minor injuries. This dual-purpose nature, healing the soil and occasionally assisting people, earns comfrey a lasting spot near compost piles or orchard boundaries. The plant can be invasive if not managed, so Amish gardeners often confine it to specific areas or large barrels, ensuring its beneficial properties stay where needed most. Number 7. Horseradish. Horseradish's pungent roots help Amish farmers in surprising ways by deterring root-eating pests such as wireworms and certain nematodes. Its strong scent can mask nearby crops, preventing infestations from taking hold. Planted at the edges of potato or carrot patches, horseradish acts like a guardianship barrier, discouraging insects from settling in. Many families have discovered that a single horseradish root can continue to grow year after year, cutting down on maintenance. Beyond pest control, Amish cooks turn horseradish into sauces and preserves, adding zesty flavor to communal meals. The plant demands minimal care, needing just enough water to get established. Its hardy nature and multi-year resilience make horseradish a testament to how Amish agriculture uses every resource carefully, ensuring each crop can serve multiple functions around the homestead. Number 8. Mint. Mint's sprawling nature can overtake a garden if left unchecked, but the Amish transform that vigor into an asset. By placing mint along walkways, fences, or the borders of vegetable beds, they create a living barrier against weeds and ants. Mint's aroma confuses a variety of pests that might otherwise head for cabbage, carrots, or fruit trees. Many Amish families limit its spread by planting mint in sunken containers or raised beds lined with boards. The leaves themselves provide flavor for teas, baked goods, and cold beverages. Fresh mint sprigs often appear in pitchers of water on hot days, providing a refreshing taste that guests and farm workers enjoy. As a tough perennial, mint springs back each year, reflecting the Amish belief in relying on hardy, dependable plants to simplify the tasks of day-to-day living. Number 9. Marigold. Marigold's bright orange and yellow blossoms dot Amish homesteads throughout the growing season, creating visual cheer while protecting crops. The strong scent that marigolds produce disrupts the scent trail insects rely on for navigation. When placed strategically around tomatoes, peppers, or strawberries, marigolds can dramatically reduce aphids, nematodes, and whiteflies. In some Amish gardens, rows of marigolds border entire plots, forming a protective ring. Children often take charge of planting these seeds in spring, as marigold care is simple and rewarding for young hands. When the flowers fade, their seeds are saved for the next season, encouraging a cycle of knowledge transfer between generations. Researchers have documented marigolds' soil cleansing properties, but the Amish value them simply because they work reliably year after year. Number 10. Yarrow. Yarrow's delicate white or pastel-colored clusters hide one of the most potent dynamic accumulators in organic gardening. By reaching deep layers of soil, yarrow extracts minerals that many shallow-rooted vegetables can't access on their own. When Amish gardeners chop yarrow foliage for mulch, those nutrients become immediately available to surface-level crops like lettuce or onions. Yarrow's blossoms also attract beneficial insects that hunt pests, while its antiseptic qualities can reduce the spread of some plant pathogens. out near fruit trees, yarrow can improve pollination by drawing in predatory wasps and ladybugs that cross-pollinate blossoms en route. Some Amish families hang dried yarrow in storage rooms as a light insect deterrent. The plant returns year after year with little intervention, symbolizing the kind of low-labor, high-reward approach that anchors Amish gardening practices. Number 11. Oregano. Oregano does more than add flavor to pasta sauce in Amish communities. Its aromatic oils help mask the scent of vulnerable crops, deterring pests like cabbage moths and spider mites. Planted at the base of taller vegetables or even fruit bushes, oregano grows as a low-maintenance ground cover that reduces water loss from evaporation. Because many Amish gardeners prefer rain-fed systems over irrigation, preserving soil moisture is a constant priority. As oregano spreads, it also shades out weeds, lowering overall labor for weeding. Amish families often pass down robust heirloom oregano varieties that have adapted to local climate conditions. Dried oregano is stored for cooking and for minor medicinal uses, making this herb a practical staple that fits perfectly into a no-waste philosophy. Number 12. Dill. Dill's fern-like leaves wave in the breeze across Amish vegetable rows, serving a vital role in protecting pickling cucumbers, squash, and zucchini. Ladybugs and lacewings gravitate toward dill's umbrella-like flower heads, where they feed on aphids and other pests that might damage the harvest. Cucumber beetles, known for riddling vines with disease, are less likely to infest plots with healthy dill stands. Once harvest is over, dill seed heads are collected and dried, then used for canning pickles or flavoring bread. Many Amish families appreciate how quickly dill matures and self-seeds. This ensures a regular cycle of fresh plants throughout the summer, saving time and effort. The synergy between dill and cucumbers is a classic example of companion planting, aligning with the Amish preference for natural methods over chemical shortcuts. Number 13. Nasturtiums. The bright, trailing nasturtiums often creep along the edges of raised beds in Amish gardens, luring aphids, squash bugs, and whiteflies away from tender vegetables. This sacrificial function spares crops from infestations while concentrating pests on one ornamental plant that's easier to dispose of or treat. Nasturtiums also produce edible flowers and leaves, adding a peppery zing to salads. In times of scarcity, some Amish cooks pickle the green seeds as a substitute for capers. Kids enjoy collecting nasturtium seeds for next year's sowing, learning in the process how a single plant can serve multiple roles. By combining pest diversion, visual appeal, and culinary value, nasturtiums fit the Amish ethos of maximizing the usefulness of each patch of soil. Number 14. Chamomile. Chamomile's delicate daisy-like flowers soothe both humans and gardens. The Amish steep chamomile tea for its calming properties, but also rely on the plant's natural antifungal and antibacterial qualities to shield seedlings from disease. When grown near brassicas, chamomile appears to improve their resilience against pests and mildew. Observational evidence suggests that chamomile triggers neighboring plants to strengthen their defenses. Amish elders teach younger generations how to time chamomile's planting so it peaks alongside vulnerable crops. By letting some chamomile flowers go to seed, there is always a self-renewing supply for the following season. Once dried, leftover blossoms and stems can be mixed into compost, enhancing its microbial diversity. That attention to detail underscores the Amish habit of finding subtle natural systems to replace chemical treatments. Number 15. Sunflowers. Towering sunflowers form natural windbreaks that safeguard delicate rows of tomatoes, peppers, and herbs in flat Amish farmland. Their tall stalks reduce harsh gusts and help trap moisture near the soil's surface. The large blooms also draw pollinators and birds, which in turn manage insect populations and scatter seeds. In late summer, harvested sunflower heads feed chickens, who love the protein-packed seeds. By strategically placing sunflowers in areas with high wind exposure, Amish families protect more fragile plants and preserve water. Their root systems break up compact layers beneath the surface, improving drainage for heavy rains. Year after year, sunflowers cheerfully reappear from fallen seeds, minimizing labor while continuing to serve as an ecological ally on the farm. Number 16. Radishes. Fast-growing radishes serve as natural soil aerators in Amish gardens, drilling down with robust taproots to break compact layers. This is especially useful in plots that were recently used for heavier crops like corn or potatoes. Some varieties with long white roots, such as daikon, plunge deep, creating channels for water and oxygen. If the radishes are left in the ground to decompose, these channels remain, improving drainage and inviting healthy soil life. Meanwhile, harvested radishes add a peppery crunch to salads or pickling jars. Amish families often plant radishes as a quick catch crop in spring and fall, capturing short windows of growth while also revitalizing the garden's substructure. This method exemplifies how Amish growers harness nature's own processes to maintain and improve their land. Number 17. Peas. The Amish often rely on peas to prepare their plots for heavier nitrogen demanders like corn or squash. Peas host beneficial bacteria that convert atmospheric nitrogen into plant-available forms. Once pods are gathered, leftover vines are tilled under or used as compost, pumping valuable nutrients back into the soil. Early spring sowing takes advantage of cold tolerance, ensuring the ground isn't left bare. Amish communities preserve heirloom pea types that excel in different soils, some prized for sweetness, others for reliability. The synergy between peas and subsequent crops boosts overall yields without adding chemical fertilizers. Fresh peas also become a cherished seasonal treat, served creamed or in homemade soups during gatherings. This cycle of soil enrichment and family sustenance demonstrates how Amish traditions unite productivity and community well-being. Number 18. Buckwheat. Buckwheat's swift growth cycle and dense foliage suppress weeds naturally, earning it a place in Amish cover cropping rotations. Within a few weeks, buckwheat forms a lush mat that blocks sunlight from weed seeds. The flowers that appear soon after feed local bees, leading to fragrant dark honey that Amish beekeepers can sell or use at home. When mowed down, the remains become green manure, adding valuable organic matter and releasing nutrients like phosphorus. This practice controls weeds in a season-friendly way, requiring minimal labor. Amish farmers often plant buckwheat in transitional periods, after harvesting a spring crop or before planting a fall one. Its ability to reseed can sometimes lead to volunteer sprouts, but the Amish see these as bonus cover rather than a nuisance. Number 19. Rue. Rue's blue-green leaves and yellow blossoms mask strong scents that repel fleas, rodents, and certain beetles, making it especially useful near chicken coops. Amish families learned long ago that a perimeter of rue can reduce infestations without resorting to chemical powders that might harm livestock or contaminate eggs. When dried, rue bundles hang in storage sheds to deter mice and moths from gnawing on grains or linens. The plant's bitter taste also keeps chickens from devouring it, so it stands guard effectively. Although not widely consumed, rue is sometimes used in tiny amounts for home remedies under careful supervision. Despite modern alternatives, many Amish farmers continue to trust rue's reliability in creating a cleaner, healthier environment for both animals and people. Number 20. Garlic. Garlic's robust aroma helps Amish families ward off all kinds of unwanted visitors, from garden insects to browsing deer. By planting garlic at the edges of vegetable beds and around fruit trees, farmers create an enduring shield. Certain compounds in garlic inhibit fungal growth, so Amish orchard keepers sometimes brew garlic-infused water for spraying on tree trunks. After harvest, spare bulbs are stored for year-round cooking, pickling, or medicinal tinctures meant to ease cold symptoms. The simplicity of planting individual cloves suits the Amish style. They place them in late fall, let them overwinter, and watch them sprout strong in spring. Over time, Amish families have selected hardy garlic strains adapted to local soils, ensuring both the crop's pest control effect and its culinary value remain dependable year after year.